fellow humans, and welcome to Spelunky Daily Challenge Duels. Today is March 21st, 2020. And this is our latest episode in an ongoing series of challenges and duels between me and my friend Jacob of slightly absurd fame. Oh man. Got climbing gloves, as Jacob calls them, and now clearly I call them Hulk hands, because I think that's pretty funny. Which allows us to climb walls. Ooh. I don't think this arrow trap has been set off yet. Go ahead and try to avoid that. I think I mentioned in my last video, this mine is laden with arrow traps. I mentioned in my last video that Jacob's been working on a new series where he records himself MS painting. Sort of a one part educational, one part relaxational series. Something that I've been looking forward to. So I'm not sure where you are in the world, but it seems as though the majority of the places in the world right now, people are staying put, taking a bit of an extended spring break. And under those circumstances, it's pretty easy to get a little bored, get a little stir crazy, get the space madness, as it were. I think it's been pretty inspiring to see how many people are coming together, making jokes, commiserating. But more importantly, helping one another out, which is always nice to see. Yes, I suspected that arrow trap had not been set off. This level here, we've got a snake pit. Those more enterprising spelunkers may just dive headstrong into the bottom, but sort of like to take my time on the descent. Hate to succumb to fall damage. But more importantly, you'll frequently see, as is a common theme here, an arrow coming from an arrow trap. Much like that one ricocheting just did. And as also a recurring theme in these daily challenge duels, my attempts to make a safer environment for myself to traverse has seemed to be my downfall. One thing to definitely take note of when using the mattock to navigate is those crush blocks, sort of silvery gray push blocks. I think they are actually these, will also become, in those circumstances, crush blocks they will smush you to pieces. Alright, we are whipping Beer Cat instead of grabbing him. This is not boding well for my intended button maneuvering. Alright, we are going to get rid of these spikes first. Then we're going to bomb this spider. Grab ourselves a jar of bomb paste. Got a shrine for Kali. Unfortunately, I do not hear Beer Cat. So I may have to do a little bit of exploring. But at least for right now, we've got plenty of resources. One thing I like to do when I've got the Matic equipped is sort of create a staircase for myself, especially for these long drops, and particularly when you got the climbing gloves, you can sort of create a place for you to get back up. That way, if we do find Beer Cat somewhere in this level, it won't be quite as difficult to get him back up to the shrine. There's one of those circumstances with the push block becoming a crush block. I think so far, man, pretty sloppy today with the easily bested enemies. As I was saying, I think we've created a circumstance where we won't have to use the ropes or our bombs to get back up to the top of the level. The one thing of note, man, we are going to die in the mines if we're not careful. One thing of note is like a stark absence of a damsel in this level. Do not see a Beer Cat. What I do see is a dick butt. You're gonna go ahead and leave the level. Hope for better times ahead. Do need to be careful though. Limit my unintended interactions with enemies. We're down to our last bit of health here. Already in the mines. As we all know, Space Dude is a thief, whereas he prefers to be called a treasure hunter. So we will be trying to get every bit of gold we can find here today. I do hear a Beer Cat now. Not sure that that's worth firing a rope toward. Been a bit unlucky today with the arrow traps. And we will be getting rid of that spider. Alright, we've got a big chest here, which means somewhere there's a key. I've already navigated the top part of this level. One nice feature of the big chest is that it's one of the more heavy items in Spelunky. Which means that when you throw it, it doesn't travel very far. Or one of these arrow shafts will fly pretty far. That's about the limit of the big chest. Probably should have paid a little more attention to how much time we had left. Now we're going to be doing a little bit of dick butt dodging. Just like in high school, am I right? I'd say it's probably worth tossing up a rope just to get him a little bit higher in the air. Try to drag him as far as we can this way on the diagonal. So I would like to get that small chest open before we exit the level. Hope that it's not full of bombs. And these are the kind of circumstances where I end up getting greedy. Glitter of that diamond is just a little too enticing to ignore. It doesn't appear as though it's too difficult for us to navigate to it. Definitely worth our time. We were desperately seeking that rude gesture from Mr. Beercat. We have now statistically doubled our health. And we've lost the Maddock. Oh my. Circumstances where I always assume for some reason that I've got the spike shoes. It's just like my base state is the assumption that the spike shoes are equipped. Which, unless you've purchased or found them, it's not the case. That red frog's explosion to our advantage. See a Mr. Beercat. Doesn't appear as though there are any regular-sized piranhas floating around in his pool. We will rescue him from his dead end. Continue onward. That's where the level entrance was. Just keeping an eye out for the entrance to the black market. Oh. Did not realize that I had leaped into the shallow end of that pool. The blinking of the black market took my eyes away. Well, it has been a series of unfortunate events. Somehow we managed to overtake Jacob by one level. I'm not sure how that happened exactly, but It is bringing back memories of one of my few and most bold triumphs over Jacob, slightly absurd, in achieving 2-1 rather than 1-4. Ironically, I say that I have beaten Jacob before having the awareness to realize that he in fact did score more gold and gems than I did. So I think go ahead, spend a little more time in the mines. Have a fun run. I've been meaning to, and forgetting to, until these circumstances, get the full, or at least close to full name of the Dunder Mifflin Michael Scott Scranton Meredith Palmer Pro-Am Fun Run Race for the Cure. I'm sure that I didn't keep those in the right order, and I may have still omitted part of it, but weirdly enough it happened to come up after a couple of days of my sort of partially making that joke in these videos. There's an office trivia YouTube video with Rainn Wilson, and I think he said her name was William Eyelash. But weirdly enough, I suppose not that weirdly, one of the questions was the full name of the fun run. And so, in a way, the research was sort of done for me. I mean, I say research as if that information is deserving of some form of grant or award, but that information sort of just fell into my lap, I suppose, is what I was trying to say. And here's another circumstance where, after having the climbing gloves for just 5 levels, you've probably already seen me a couple of times, like this jump here, trying desperately to claw at the walls as if I could cling to them, without the obvious awareness that I no longer have the climbing gloves. This is an interesting Spelunky song. One of the more rare ones. And it was always one of my favorites. But if you've spent any time playing through the Sasha Vol levels with Froze Lunky, sort of an increased difficulty, in which all of the random number generator associated events in the game are increased to what seems to be their maximum amount, and all the enemies are spawned on pretty much every block. Most of the crates will have a plasma gun, plasma cannon, or a jetpack, and it seems as if this is almost, at that point, the default song. Speaking of jetpacks and crates, their rarity, would you look at that? Would you just look at it? That order there was intentional. I was grabbing our jar of bomb paste off of that enormous spider, so I could grab Mr. Beercat and not blow a hole in the ceiling of the shop, enticing that gentleman to come firing his shotgun in my direction. like he's got some pretty good wares in there today. Already got a jetpack, so might be worth it. Get ourselves a couple of extra bombs and a shotgun here. Oh! Things did not work out exactly how I had hoped. Somehow he managed to survive that bomb to the face. Alright. We'll call that about as close as they come. Now I'll say we're a little bit better equipped for many circumstances that might arise. Alright, I hear a beer cat. Seems as though he's accessible. Without too much difficulty, even. Always hope that when you smash those pots, maybe a stunned scorpion will fall out. Sacrifice himself upon the shrine to Kali. There are those spike shoes that I presumed to myself in our last terrible run. Certainly more well-equipped this time around. I think I meant to say better equipped. More well-equipped just sounds so much more intellectual. Let me know in the comments if you think more well-equipped sounds intellectual. Our big key. Not sure quite where the big chest is. Sort of forgot we were in a situation where the shopkeeper was upset with us. That wasn't quite my intention, but I will say that it worked out quite well. In fact, I had meant to throw that bomb downward toward the shopkeeper. And then I panicked and flew away. And then he tangled himself in a spiderweb. I wish that I could take credit for having the foresight to be aware of such circumstances. Alas, that was not the case. One thing you can do here is put down your bomb and then drop it downward. I did actually think that that was going to hit him that time. But he will inevitably find his way down toward the bottom of the level. Ideally into some spikes. Let's see what sort of death awaits us below. I guess there's no point to being greedy. It's worth getting rid of these spiders rather than having them fall on my head later. Seems as though that shopkeeper is being terribly aggressive toward our friend Mr. Beercat. out exactly like I'd hoped. That, on the other hand, did not. One of the more frustrating aspects of this level design is when spike traps and crush blocks and springs, things are hidden behind these decorative level elements. Almost think, considering the peril that we found ourselves in, it's going to be worth it to drop off the shotgun. Grab Mr. Beer Cat. And get ourselves killed by a giant spider. Well, I was going to try to grab the idol, have the boulder roll through the level, and just take care of these assholes, but as you can see, that was not the case. At least we've got company with our shopkeeper corpse and Mr. Beer Cat, pacing anxiously, as he often does when he's not equipped with a stiff drink. But thank you for tuning in for Spelunky Daily Challenge Duels. Be sure to dislike that video if you disliked it. Let me know in the comments if you think less well-equipped sounds intellectual. And definitely check out Jacob, it's slightly absurd. Give him a couple of likes. Tell him he did a good job. Or a bad job, I guess, if that's your opinion. Check out those Bob Ross videos that he's doing. MS Paint. Pretty impressive stuff. I am going to rid myself of the sound of the shotgun. Okay, bye.